Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Sarah, one of the SOFO student supervisors. Welcome to the final Google Hangout of the quarter. Very exciting. I'm here for the next hour to answer all of your questions. If you happen to tune in a little bit later, make sure that you click watch live instead of watching from the beginning. And that way, if you ask any questions, you'll be able to hear me answer them live. Great. Fantastic. Okay, so I will be speaking pretty briefly about SOFO life skills. Thought this would be a nice sort of final topic. Obviously, treasurers know I'm also a treasurer. We have a fairly difficult job. It's not easy being a treasurer, particularly of some of the larger student groups on campus. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the major skills that you gain from being a treasurer, president of your group. I guess a treasurer, really, in particular. How to develop these skills. You know, maybe you guys are putting that you're a treasurer on your resume, stuff like that. How to sort of talk about the skills that you've gained, right? How to sort of maybe play them up in job interviews, all that good stuff. Great. Okay, so I'll be speaking for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll just be hanging out, and you guys are welcome to go ahead and click on Ask a New Question, type in any questions you have. Can be totally unrelated to the topic, can be about anything at all. And as soon as I see your question, I can go ahead and answer it on the air. Great. Okay, so one of the most important skills that I think you gain as a SOFO treasurer is managing people and managing expectations. You know, it's really important that you make it clear to your group members when they can expect their checks, when they can expect their reimbursements. Sometimes people assume that they can just hand you a receipt and, you know, the next day they'll have a check waiting for them. Obviously, that's not the case. It takes 2 to 3 business days to process a check at SOFO, but that's only after you guys have done the work of getting the signatures and writing the vouchers and putting everything together. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes the receipt that someone gave you needs proof of payment. It, you know, needs additional documentation. Maybe your advisor's out of town for a few days. You know, maybe your AE or GE is away. That's happening to me right now. So, you know, you have to wait, and you have to wait a couple more days to actually submit those to SOFO. That can be a drag. Like, people are not always prepared for that, and it's not necessarily something that's in your control. So just making sure that you're, you know, managing the expectations of your group members and making sure that people are aware of these potential difficulties is really important. It'll make your lives easier if you sort of educate your group about SOFO policies. That's something I think is super useful. You know, whether it's just saying, hey, like, I'm not going to be able to reimburse you for the tax unless you let me know in advance, you know, where you're going, what day you're shopping, so that I can get you that tax-exempt form, because obviously only presidents and treasurers can request tax-exempt forms at the window. You know, it might not be you guys making the purchase yourselves, so really communicate that to your group members. You know, you guys are going to have to cover that state tax yourself unless you know, let me know what you need in advance. So it's important that you guys act as a resource for your student group and your student group members. But in order to do that, you have to make sure that they're aware of the policies. You know, things like check advances. Someone in your group might be unable to front, you know, hundreds of dollars. I think, you know, we've all been in that situation. So just, you know, letting your group know, hey, like, check advances are an option for us. We can try to get an invoice, make a payment with a company rather than paying up front. Making sure your group members are aware of this so that they're not just fronting money for no reason. So, really managing the people in your group, making sure that they're aware of things. Since you are, as the treasurer, you're the SOFO representative, you're the SOFO authority. Going along with that, I think good communication is one of the most important skills that you can really gain and develop as a SOFO treasurer. Whether it's communicating policy to, to your group members or to your exec board or to whoever it is who's going to be making purchases for your group. That's super important. Communicating with your group members about, where their reimbursements are at. I send out a ton of emails to everyone who's waiting on reimbursements for my group, like, hey, this is where I'm at. Our advisor's out of the office for the next couple days, so I won't be able to get it in until Friday. That means I won't have it for you until next week. Is that okay? Obviously we have things like rush options available for you guys if you need to rush a check for any reason. It's important to communicate with your group members. You are responsible for getting them their money that they fronted for the group. So really make sure that they're aware of potential difficulties that can occur with the timeline process, and exactly where you're at all times. Just keep them updated. Maybe your social chair is planning an event for your group, but since you're the one who actually interacts with SOFO, it's really important that you communicate to your social chair what it is you need, exactly what paperwork you need from them. That's really important. Just communicating well when you come to the window, communicating with SOFO attendants about what you need and what questions you have. That's really important as well. So yeah, that's a really good skill. And then a little bit sort of a step beyond that is professional communication with not only with fellow students and with your group members, but with vendors, with major companies. You may be dealing with a company to form a contract together. That definitely requires some professional, timely communication. Even if you're just speaking with representatives of Northwestern in events planning or cash operations, that's when really developing those professional communication skills will be important. So just think about that and think about ways that you can communicate as effectively as possible for your group. Let's see what else. So organization, kind of obvious, but I think more difficult than people think, particularly when it comes to keeping track of a SOFO account. I think it's a lot different than just keeping other parts of your life organized. It really does require accounting skills, bookkeeping skills, math, documentation, organization, all of those things. It's really important to come up with a system that works for you. Like maintaining a good ledger is really important, making sure that you're being really thorough with your descriptions of each transaction. We provide like Excel worksheets basically on our website that you can print out, but you don't have to do that. I prefer to do things electronically. A lot of people prefer that. Feel free to come up with an online spreadsheet that works for you. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to sort of develop your own organizational system and then follow it as well as you can. Yeah, so just obviously you're going to be dealing with a lot of paperwork, a lot of vouchers, receipts, invoices, potentially contracts. It's important to keep everything organized. Make sure you know who has to be paid, which receipts belong to which person. I think it's a good idea to write everyone's name on their own receipts so that you're always aware of who's receiving your reimbursements. Yeah, so there's little tips and tricks, but definitely being a SOFO officer definitely helps your organizational skills. And then being proactive, really being able to plan ahead and developing time management skills is another really important part of the job. Sort of figuring out all the pieces that go into a contract, that's a pretty elaborate process. Definitely requires a lot of time management. You really need to start planning for a big event about a month in advance, making sure that all contracts are, signed by both parties, signed by the performer, the speaker of the company, and then also by a university representative. Getting that university signature can take a couple of weeks. It's really important to get that process started as early as possible. Sometimes just navigating, the university departments can be a little bit tricky. So definitely being proactive and seeking out, the information that you need, and making sure that you get that information well in advance so that, you have your checks in time and so that everything goes smoothly. That's definitely super important. And then just staying on top of deadlines is obviously related to time management. You have 85 days from the date on a receipt to get it into SOFO for reimbursement. If someone in your group doesn't actually give you their receipt for 2 months, then you're down to about a little under a month to get the signatures and get it into SOFO. So it's really important to stay on top of that. Maybe organize your receipts by date so that you're always aware of that deadline. That could be a good idea. You have 30 days to have a check advance outstanding before you need to kind of check in with us and reconcile with the receipts that you've collected. So really, that can go by quickly. The month can go by quickly. So make sure that you're keeping track of those receipts for a check advance, keeping them organized, and then coming in at the right times. And then little things like balancing your account. We send out reminders for that, and obviously it happens at the end of every quarter. But it is important. The end of the quarter can be a really busy time, so just remembering to do that. And it's really a good idea to maintain your ledger as you go. I'm sure some people just get to the end of the quarter and then sort of fill in everything that's happened since they last balanced, but it's really a lot easier if you guys, just every time you turn in reimbursements, mark them down in your ledger, mark down, not just who you're paying, but like what the event was for, exactly what they purchased, the date, things like that. And that really helps us too, because, there's always the possibility that something could go wrong on our end. We really want to make sure that you guys are keeping us accountable, just like we're keeping you guys accountable. So the balancing your account thing is a really kind of a two-way process to make sure that we're on the same page. And finally, just, I think financial planning in general is something that students and young people don't necessarily have a ton of experience with, but it's very relevant to adult life. And I think the fact that you guys are getting the experience now, sort of, to budget and to manage money for your group, and just, having a budget and allocating it and being able to distribute money and stay on top of it and make sure that everyone is receiving those reimbursements. It's definitely can be a lot to handle for a large group with a lot of people, but it's a really good skill. It's a really good, now is a good time to start developing those skills. So yeah, I was just kind of wanted to highlight some of the major benefits that you can gain from being a SOFO treasurer. I know it can be frustrating and definitely seems like a lot sometimes, but just remember when you're writing your resume, all the good skills you've gained, like whether it's just managing people and managing your communication skills, becoming super organized, being proactive, having good time management, learning to budget, learning how to be a financial planner. All of these things sort of come along with being an officer. So cool, that's really all I have to say. I'll be here for another 45 minutes. I would love if anyone asked me a question. It would be very exciting. So feel free. I'm going to mute myself and study for my midterm. But if I see any questions, I will answer them. Yay, thanks guys.
What?
Guest appearance. Say something about SOFO.
I don't know anything about SOFO.
I know. Well, that's not helpful. Say something nice. Say hello to my hordes of viewers. Little wave, little something. Yay! It's my roommate. Okay, go away. Drink responsibly. Going back on mute. Okay, we have a question. This is very exciting. Caroline asked, hi Caroline, when does spring balancing start? What a good question. What a relevant question. Spring balancing will actually start next week. Wow, I know. Technically, it usually starts reading week. Feel free to start next week. I know you're all very excited about this. Remember to bring your complete ledger to SOFO, along with your account reconciliation form. We will, make sure to look over that at the window, make sure that your balance is the same as our balance. You can get an audit trail at the window, or, fun fact, you can go on Wildcat Connection on your group's page, and as long as you are listed as an officer, you can just click on the Finance tab, and you can view your audit trail there. Great. So we will see you guys soon to balance. Thank you for your question.
Apologies for my creepy roommate. I'm just kidding. I told her to do that.
You didn't.
Well, I told you to wave.
Yeah, I didn't wait.
That's true. It was better than a wave.
What?
10 more minutes, guys. Get in those questions. It's your last chance. I see that I have a new viewer. This is thrilling. I will be signing off in about 5 minutes, so feel free to ask your questions or just keep staring at my face, whatever works. 5 minute warning. Okay. It's 8 o'clock. It's actually 8:02. Um, that's a wrap, guys. Wow, that was really fun. Bye from, did you want to say something? Did you want to say goodbye? Oh, you waved goodbye. Okay, well, we are signing off. Thank you all for your attention and questions. Feel free to send more questions to sofostudentsupervisor@gmail.com. We'll see you at the office.